Welcome back to the series on MBA Job Search. And in this video, what I'm going to talk about is the power of networking. And why networking is probably the most important thing that will help you 10x the chances of getting that dream job after an MBA. Now, my name is Ivan Lesso with MBAthink.com. And as an MBA career coach, I've helped a lot of people land their dream job after an MBA. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing below and hitting that bell, because that way you'll know exactly when I post new videos in this series, and it's a series of 4 videos. This is video number 2, but you will also get notified when I post new videos on my channel. All right, so with that, let's dive into today's topic of networking. Well, first of all, let me say that the reason that it's super important to network is because recruiters typically look at 3 pools of candidates. They look at internal candidates, or people that work in the company today that have applied to a particular position. Then they look at referrals, and then finally they look at people that apply on either their website or any other sites like Indeed.com, Glassdoor, just to name a few. So your job is to get into that referral pool. Now, why is it important? Well, not only will you increase the chances of your resume getting noticed and actually getting a response from a recruiter, but you will also have a chance for somebody to recommend you and give some positive feedback based on your conversation with that person. So that's why it's super important. And the way that this whole process works is, number one, you have to find people that you want to network with. And the best tool that I found that you can use is actually linkedin.com/alumni. Now, what this tool allows you to do is it allows you to find people that have graduated from your school and that currently work at the company that you want to work for. And what you can do then is use some filters to get a list of people that you want to reach out to, and then you can add those people, and so that the system will allow you to actually message them without using what's called the LinkedIn in-mails, right, or the credits that you have to basically buy through your subscription. So you want to add those people, basically get the list of those people and then add them. So that's the first stage. You can also see some people that work at a company that maybe didn't go to school, right? And you can use LinkedIn for that as well. And then look at if you have any connections with those people that maybe could give an introduction, right? That's another way that you can find people that you can network with. And then lastly, if you don't have any connections, if you don't have anybody that went to your school that works at that company, you can still find people that you can network with. It's just that I found that the response rate is lower because you don't have anything in common with them. But which brings us to the second section of this whole process, which is how do you actually reach out to them? If you reach out to them properly, and I'll go over that in just a second, they will more likely to respond back to you because there's a good way and a bad way to reach out. And let's actually talk about that now. So based on my experience, and I get those emails really daily, if sometimes weekly, sometimes daily, but the bad way that people go about reaching out is they literally just add somebody, and then they just send a quick, short message saying that, hey, I'm interested in your company. Would you be able to give me a referral? And they just expect people to, just give them a referral without really, number one, knowing if they are a good fit or knowing what kind of background do they have. And you can look at their LinkedIn profile, but there's so much more to it than that. And you really, people really want to have a conversation with you before actually referring you to the company and providing some feedback to the recruiter. So that's the bad way. Don't do that. Don't just send a message and to a lot of people and expect some high success rate. What you want to do instead, and that's the good way, is and I'm actually gonna give you a template that I've used in the past, and I think that it's a really good template. And you can actually find a link to that template in the description below. I'm gonna make sure you have access to it. But what you want to do is you want to add somebody, and then the way that you want to reach out is by asking them for some time. And if you're in the same city, a coffee chat is fine. Although I think that phone conversations, you'll have a lot more success rate with phone conversations, but you want to ask them to jump on the phone with you for 15 to 20 minutes and really for you to learn about their career path and to learn about how, what made them kind of decide to pursue that career at that company. Really make it all about them, right? And that's how you want to word your message to them, making sure that it's not all about you, it's about them, and you want to learn about their path and some of the things that they've done that maybe they would recommend to you. So I'll leave a link to that template below. You can use it, but make sure that you stay humble. Some people are super busy, so if you don't get a response right away, that's fine. Maybe follow up 3-5 days later, maybe a week later. If they don't respond, then try to go to somebody else with the whole kind of outreach, because some people just don't respond. Or another thing that I found too is that their email, maybe they have their school email tied to their LinkedIn, and that way they don't check that email often, and sometimes they might get back to you in like 2 months or something, right? So it's totally fine. That's why you want to find a list of people to reach out to, not just one or two. That way you'll increase the chances of actually talking to somebody on the phone. So that's stage number 2. You want to make sure that you have proper outreach and that your message is on point, and you want to make it all about the people that you want to network with. Now, the third piece of this process is when you jump on the phone, what do you say and how do you ultimately ask for a referral? And by the way, sometimes if you are, maybe an MBA candidate today and this is your first year, you still want to develop that network, and you don't have to ask for a referral right away. You want to maybe establish a rapport. You want to maybe ask for advice, ask about the industry to make sure that you know that it would be a good fit to your long-term career goals. And I talk about that in the first video of this series, but it's okay not to ask for a referral, but instead also ask about their experience and their recommendation on what would they do if they were in your shoes again. So, but the way that you want to kind of talk about, or the way that you want to structure the phone conversation is really, again, make it about them, right? Don't start off by giving your background, telling why you want to work at the company, all of that stuff. Really ask them about, hey, what is their background? Why did they choose this industry? Why did they choose that company? What do they like about the company? Maybe what they don't like, what do they not like about the company? Where do they see themselves kind of in the future, right? Really just be curious about their thought process, and I think people open up that way, and it's just a good way to really establish a rapport and establish a communication to make it about the person that you're kind of speaking with. So you want to make it about them. They will likely ask you questions that will be related to your background. And that's an opportunity for you to be very concise and talk about your interest in the company, why you want to work at that company. Again, don't make sure that you've done your research and you have a really good reason to why you're reaching out to them and why you want to work at that company. So that's all table stakes, but I just want to make sure that I kind of point them out. And then once you have that conversation with them, the way that you want to ask for a referral is just to say that, you've learned a lot. You're more confident than ever that you'd be a good and resourceful, member of their team or member of that company, right? And then you want to say, what do they see kind of the next steps are for you in that process, right? And most of the time, the conversation kind of goes towards them, telling you that they'll refer you. If they don't, try to bring it up, kind of in a way that's maybe something like this. Hey, do you think that my chances of getting an interview would be higher if I just applied on the website, or is there an internal process that may allow you to refer me? Just kind of phrase it that way, so it's not kind of direct, hey, all right, we're finished with our conversation. here's my resume, please refer me, right? It's just people are not going to respond to it that way, but just have a casual conversation. I think you'll be totally fine that way. But this is really the third step in that whole process. Now, one more thing to note there too is that if you have reached out to somebody who is not on the team you want to kind of be part of, maybe ask them if they could connect you with somebody within the organization that is closer to that team, because the closer you are to the team that you want to work in, the higher the chances are going to be with them giving you a recommendation to the hiring manager or to the recruiter. So that's another thing to note. If you believe that you would need to speak to other people, it's okay to ask to be connected with other people that might be on the team that you want to be part of. So again, those are the 3 steps. I'll leave all the links in the description below. Let me know what you think about it. If you've networked before, if some things worked for you and others didn't, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to learn more about that. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And in the next video, what I'm going to talk about is the resume, because the resume is another super important thing in this whole job recruiting process, job search process, because it's really a sales tool for you, because the recruiters don't really speak to candidates when they review their resumes. So the resume is super important, and I'll talk about that in the next video. But I appreciate your time, and I'll see you soon.